The market nosedives in the Thursday overnights, then rallies all day Friday. Where do we head from here? Find out next on Invest with Jacob. Okay, guys, before I jump into everything, I did my Facebook Live yesterday, Sunday at noon. I posted it in my Facebook group. It is full of very, very valuable information that you should check out. And basically, you need to do that as soon as possible because that information expires next Monday. I will tell you how to get into my Facebook group at the end of the video, but it's really excellent information. I highly recommend you check it out. Okay, guys, the market took a nosedive Thursday night and then rallied into the morning Friday and continued rallying all day Friday, breaking 4,400 at the close. This basically takes our direct move down in the ending diagonal off the table and leaves us with 2 counts and what I'm going to call a kicker. Now, I'll get into that in just 1 second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, that move over 4,400 basically took the ending diagonal off the table, so we really only have 2 counts to track, and then, as I'm calling it, the kicker. So let's jump into the charts and take a look. Okay, guys, here we are on the 5-minute futures chart, and again, we are zoomed into this area because this is where the magic is happening right now. This is where we have to decide when the market is going to bottom and start to move up as opposed to grind along sideways as it's done for a while now. We do have a couple potentials here that we're tracking, okay? The first one is off of this bottom here that we called wave 3 at the bottom of C, okay? Remember, C wave should be 5-wave movement, so we would expect a wave 4 and then 5 down to make a lower low. So the first way we're tracking that as a wave 4 is a bigger ABC movement, where this move over to here was A, and then you get A, B, C down in B, and then you get the C wave up here in wave 4 of C towards this 4,500 region. Now this could go a little higher than 4,500 to 4,540 right in there, but I really would expect the resistance in the 4,500 area to hold, or else momentum's going to start building to the upside. For the second count, and we've been tracking this one a while too, it's the triangle. And for that to hold, okay, off that wave 3 low, you've got your A wave up. They made the B wave down Thursday in the overnights. Then on Friday, they're making the C wave up is what it looks like. And now they're hitting a very key resistance point for the triangle. It really needs to hold 44.40 and stay below that, because once it breaks this high, the triangle is no longer valid, and that is not a count we would be looking at. So 44.40, which it's climbed up to here in the overnights, it's almost there. I think it got to 44.35. And so it's up here trying to push through this 4,400 region, 44.40 region. And if it does, again, over this high, invalidates that triangle and makes this C wave up to about 4,500 much more likely. But if they can hold that 44.40 area, you would expect them to bring it down in a 3-wave movement to D, down towards this 42.90 range, and then back up in E to complete wave 4 of C here, okay, up around 44.40 again. A little less than that, actually, because E would come down, so it'd be like 44.30, somewhere in there. You would expect that, and then a swift move down in wave 5 of C to complete wave C and complete bigger wave 4 to the downside. So those are the 2 main paths we're tracking, that ABC up and that A, B, C, D, E triangle that we could have play out over the next week or 2. Now, there is a kicker, and the kicker is the daily chart. So if we go over to the daily here, we're not going to actually look at the chart because the chart's not going to tell us much of anything in the micro count of where we're headed here in the short term. But what is important to understand, guys, is the MACD. So the MACD on the daily chart, as we zoom in here, okay, it is more oversold than any time in the last 12, 15 years, other than the COVID lows from March of 2020. So it's more oversold than 2019. It's more oversold than 2008. It is now curling up. You can see, if we zoom in here, you can see that there's a little check here as it starts to curl up. And when the daily starts to curl up on the MACD, okay, and it's this oversold, we can get a bottom from almost anywhere in what we call an unorthodox structure. So we have seen, let's go back to the other chart. We have seen unorthodox bottoming structures, especially in this COVID low. I remember being down here and thinking we needed one more low, but the market was so oversold that when it started gaining momentum to the upside, it just went and it wasn't going to stop. Okay, we could see something similar to that here, but in order for that to kind of take shape, they need to break through 4,500 on the way up here. And ultimately, 4,550 really gives us the indication that we are out of this low. We have started a new uptrend, and the market is gaining momentum to the upside. This would be considered an unorthodox bottom, where we hit our bottom here in what is really wave 3 of C, and we didn't get the 5th wave down. And that happens from time to time, especially in a market that is this oversold. So that is something to keep an eye on, guys. It's why we buy, okay? It's why we buy our longer positions at the bottom of wave 3, because you're not guaranteed a wave 5 down, and even if you get one, it's generally not low enough to matter that much, and you can add to your position there. So it's always a pretty good strategy if you're expecting a wave 2 or 4 down to buy at the bottom of wave 3 of C and layer in your longs there so that you can catch as much of the upside of the next move as possible. Okay, so that's why we bought over here. Currently, we are doing well on those longs, and we keep hedging as we hit certain targets to make sure that we're not just getting eaten up with time decay. So those are the things we're tracking, guys. The bigger ABC up and the triangle, this ABCDE. I kind of favor the ABC up the way it's running, but if it cannot get through this area here, we should see a pretty sharp down move to this D target, and then a bounce and more whipsaw back up in E before we finally get one more low to complete this bigger wave C. Just keep an eye on the momentum, guys. If this starts to take off to the upside, it can really run. Guys, if you like the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to get in my Facebook group. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link and it will bring you over to Facebook. Okay, and as I told you earlier, I did a Facebook Live that's explaining some major changes to invest with Jacob, and it's right on the main page right here. If you scroll down, here it is. I highly encourage you to check that out. I have an excellent group of traders put together, and this is going to tell you all about the exciting changes coming to Invest with Jacob that can allow you guys to join that group. All right, guys, key takeaways for today. We're watching 4440 on the way up. If they're able to bust through it tonight and break through and start pushing up towards this 4,500 level, it will invalidate this triangle and make this bigger ABC our next most likely count. Okay, and then we're watching 4,500. If they bust through 4,500, we need to start watching closely as we approach 4,550, as the momentum should start to build, and we could start to see an indication that we do have a bottom in place back over here. All right, so that is what we're watching, those two main counts, the bigger ABC, the ABCDE triangle, and the kicker being if they can push it up through 4,550, given the oversold nature of the daily chart on the MACD, then we may just have a bottom in place. All right, guys, that is the market update for today. Let's have a great week. I will talk to you tomorrow.